back to the channel. I am Shelby, aka 88 Fox. Once again, we are working on the 88 Fox. So a lot has changed since the last video. We've done some mechanical changes. It's been tuned. Wiring's been cleaned up. So I will go over a few of those things right now. We put a new radiator and fan assembly. I got this off of eBay. The reason for this was the old assembly I had in was a Mishimoto assembly that I had purchased like 10 years ago, and I just could not maintain cool temps. So I got this and try it out. Now the problem is these fans are they just don't blow enough. So where this maintains temps better, it doesn't maintain it where I want it. So we'll go over there here in just a little bit, but I am going to be putting some Courier fans on this, which are known to blow at, I think, 3,500 CFM, and then we will be rocking and rolling. Also, I got the coolant expansion tank. This is a kit from, I guess a kit from Evil Energy. Went ahead and just welded my own little bracket there to hold it in. Works well. Does what I need it to do. Did a little bit of engine bay cleanup, but I still got to replace all these zip ties with some hose clamps. I had forgotten to clamp any of this stuff off, and we did a run. Got full boost on it, and man, that thing just popped, or one of those hoses popped, and it just sounded terrible. I believe, I don't know, but I believe this wasn't captured in the last video. Of course, all the vacuum lines running to the wastegates, or to the single wastegate that we have down there, the blow-off valve, all that is going up through our electronic boost, all that's working with our electronic boost controller, and then going into this vacuum tree here. Had to get some extra ports here, and then here's our boost reference, if you will. Let me turn this off so it's a little more quiet. I'm going to invest in a gimbal at one day, and yeah, and maybe this whole thing will sound a lot better later. So let's look in here. I cut the hole out for the transmission a little bit better. I'm going to try to modify something where I can actually have a boot on there, but that's later on. And then I got the wiring together. It's not where I want it to be, but I've got to lengthen a couple wires and shorten some wires, and then that'll be all cleaned up, and then it rolls all into here. Currently, there's a spare wire that's just kind of hanging out right there. That's where I was trying to get an oil pressure gauge to work for through the DDEFI dash, and I was unable to, so I'm still working on that. And then I've got the MS3 Pro mounted in there. It's currently held together with a piece of a belt, which actually works out really well, and a couple self-tapping screws. I'll bolt that eventually. Got to do a little bit more cleanup. Of course, like I said, I got to lengthen some wires and shorten some wires, but this whole mess will be cleaned up pretty soon. I'm also going to replace the wiring for the wideband. Not that we have any problem with it, but it is aluminum wire that I've got running to it. I want to put some OFC in there to make it pretty and have the best possible connection, and so on and so forth. Just a little bit of more cleanup that I got to get done on the inside, but it's pretty well there. Let's see. I got the instrument cluster in there. I got the dash in there. The instrument cluster dash portion in there, and everything works. So I mean, everything just works perfectly. So I'll just go ahead and crank it up. Oh, I gotta turn the fuel pump on. What I have over here? Let's see. Yeah, I didn't want to get too deep into it because I'm actually about to drain the coolant and all that good stuff, but just wanted you to see how it runs. It runs really great. Everything's turnkey. All the lights, everything work. Yeah, but getting into what I need to do still, obviously, besides just the wiring, we got to get these courier fans fixed, or we got to get these courier fans put in here. That's kind of the first order of business. And then second order of business is I got to get some brake lights going. And then that way I'm a little bit more comfortable driving it around town. And then, yeah, and then it's just cleanup after that. So, what's up, Odin? He's getting big. Big and retarded. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. And then once we have that done, I'm going to go ahead and do some pulls with you and show off a little bit of what the car can do. We have just kind of a mild tune in it. Again, this is a new motor, so it's not fully broken. I need to put about 500 miles on it before we can really make it spicy. But man, the way it sits right now, it's already quick. So we'll do those few things. Then we'll put it on the road, see how it handles with how it handles the new temperatures with how it handles temperatures with the new contour fans, and then we'll do some pulls. All right, stay tuned. These are the courier fans that I got from LMR. These things are super heavy, especially compared to these out of this old Mishimoto. Yeah, about half the weight, even with this metal, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to go ahead and use this old Mishimoto radiator as kind of my platform to how I want to get these mounted, because this is the same setup with the holes and everything as the eBay special that I have over there. So yeah, and they actually make a Foxbody kit that you can use that'll help you bolt this straight up to a radiator, but it's $170. I'm not going to spend $170, so we're going to cut all this stuff off to make it nice and clean, and then we're going to use this piece of aluminum, and we're going to cut it the length of the radiator on the top and bottom. Then we're going to have to cut down probably about half an inch or so, maybe closer to 3/4 of an inch. I have to measure it. Then we're just going to bolt it onto this plastic contour fan cover, and then we will drill some holes to mount it to the actual radiator. So way easier, way simpler, and in full transparency, I actually stole the idea from the guy that tuned my Foxbody. So we're gonna do that, and we will see how it looks when it's done. There you go. So I took all the edges off, which are all laying down there. I'm gonna have to clean all that up. But that is essentially how it's gonna lay on the actual radiator itself. It is missing 2 rows of whatever you call this stuff, the cooling thing, but it's okay. Now we're gonna take this piece of aluminum, we're going to cut it to length, and then we're going to use that to mount to the fans and to the radiator. So that's what's up next. Well, I totally forgot to record the process, but these are the brackets that I made. So I took some, it's not even 2x2, but I'm going to call it 2x2 aluminum, cut them down to length of the radiator, and then I cut probably about a 3/4 of an inch off in order to be able to have it flat, or in order for it to be able to kind of butt up against this piece of the top and the bottom of the contour fan assembly. Now the only problem I have is there's like this lip at the bottom here, so when I go to mount this side on here, as you can see, let me turn the light on. As you can see, that's not gonna butt up perfect. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I might just smooth this portion out. That way it kind of dips under, and then we can bolt it right there. And then, well, I got another bolt hole right there, but we can always move that, you know, right there or something. So, got the holes drilled. Should be able to mount it up pretty easily. We'll figure it out. But next time you see it, we should have it mounted and placed on this radiator. Alright, there it is. Got it mounted to the top and the bottom. I used some of these Allen screws that I had, and they ended up working well. What I did here at the bottom is I took my flap disc and I grinded the bottom of it off there, and then covered it up with the actual plate itself. So all is good. But what I want to do now is I need to order some of this, some like felt, sticky felt, and put it around the bottom side here. And I might actually take this back off and just pinch it in between the actual fan and bracket assembly itself. That way I can have, you know, more or less air coming out. Shouldn't have any issues, but yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and order that. That's gonna be it for this portion of it, but when I come back I will have that felt. I'll have it laid down, probably not on this radiator, but probably on the radiator that's actually in the car. As I said, they're the same, but where I need to mount it is going to be like right here and right here. Well, no, I'm not going to mount it there. Right here and right here. And then on the bottom side too. I don't know if those are exactly the same, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop that old radiator out anyway, since I'm going to have to. line it up, make sure it's exactly where I want it, drill my holes, and mount it up. Also, I'm going to have to get some pigtails, so while I'm thinking about that, a mental note, I got to get the pigtails for this, and then I'm going to probably just wire them in directly to right here and right here, instead of trying to do another connector with these weather pack connectors, because there's no point in having that far off. So we will do that. We will return. Also, I don't know what this is. I think it's like some kind of thermistor or something. I have no clue. I'm not going to hook it up because everything's going to be computer controlled. So felt, pigtails, put this on the appropriate radiator, splice everything in, and then be done with this project. Alright, we took the old radiator out, or well, the new radiator out. There's the old radiator, but that was in the Foxbody. So, like I said, this one's just pretty much a complete mimic of this Mishimoto. I think this Mishimoto might be actually a little bit bigger. Oh, but we're going to go ahead and take this pretty little fan setup off, which is unfortunate because it does look a lot better than the contour fans. But we'll take this off, and then we will reuse these bolts to mount this guy on here. And then I have my pigtails. We'll put the pigtails on. We'll get this mounted back in the car. We got the car over there because I had to drain it, and no, there wasn't any coolant in it, it was just water. I had to drain it out, so we'll get it mounted back in, pull it back in the shop, and then we will wire in these pigtails. But yeah, that's where we're at. So I'll get this mounted and report back. Just like that, I got it mounted to the radiator. Drilled some holes. This one's a little bit off, but whatever. I had to cut this a little bit so that it can sit in the bracket for the radiator, this side as well, and then just kind of curve the edges up. It's not absolutely perfect, but it's good enough. Top side here, I didn't do the same thing over here because I still haven't even figured out a way to mount it on the top. It was previously held in with zip ties. Zip ties do the trick, so I don't know. We might just continue to go that route permanent. I will some point in time try to do some kind of vanity thing for it, but whatever. But it's mounted. It's not going anywhere. And the good thing is I didn't mess up it too bad because the fans spin without touching the actual radiator itself. So yeah, so we'll get this mounted back in the car and then get the car pulled into the shop and start wiring it up. We got the fan assembly and radiator mounted in. What I've got here is a battery that is pretty much dead, but I need to see which way the fans are blowing so that I can make sure I don't wire them backwards. So I've got the power hooked up to the green with the blue stripe, and I got the ground hooked up to the green with the white stripe, and then lead put on power, lead put on then this lead put on ground. And then we're going to go ahead and turn on my battery charger. And that is the appropriate way. So that's good. So you don't want to, you got to pull the air through the radiator, right? So it would actually be pulling it through part of the radiator and through the intercooler. That's why a lot of people that put like holes in their bumper. We'll see if I have to do that. Hopefully we'll not have to do that, but we'll see. But that's what I wanted to find out. So green with the white stripe is the ground. It's the if you switch the polarity on them, they actually blow air through. We want it to blow air out. So yeah, so that's what we'll do. We'll wire it back to the original wiring that I had in here, and then we should be good to go to fill it full of coolant and burp the system, which that's a whole different topic. I actually have to disconnect right here where my thermostat is and raise my hoses up, fill it through that way, because this system will hold air and it will not burp, and you gotta get the air to come out the highest point. So that's the highest point right there when you do it that way. And then of course fill the radiator and should be good to go. The fans are wired up thanks to my handy dandy soldering gun, and ready to go. So now I need to fill the car full of coolant and then burp the system and then test it out. I'm gonna have to extend some of this wiring. I think I still got some slack back in the trunk space, or in the whatever you call it, the back seat space over here. So I'll have to pull that slack out. That way I can make this a little bit cleaner. Kind of the idea here is we're gonna run it like that and then mount it right here. So that's where I want the wires to be. I wish I would have had more slack already, but it is what it is. If anything, I'll solder in a couple or some extensions on the back side there, but I should have enough slack where I can pull enough out to be able to make this look clean. So that is the next step. Fill it with coolant, see if it runs, and then or get it to burp, do a couple heat cycles and call that a day. And then I'm gonna have to put it on the rack and do a couple minor touch-ups, and then go from there. Yeah, so we'll be, oh yeah, I'm gonna try to put the other wheels on it, see if we can actually get one set of wheels that look good on it without everything rubbing and being all crazy. But if not, then this will be the setup for a little while. But yeah, she's getting closer to being able to put some miles on her. I really got to put about 500 miles on it, change the oil, and then I'll be able to actually get it tuned. So I need to be able to drive this thing like a daily for a little bit. I mean, luckily it's getting a little bit cooler in Texas, so it won't be too bad because this thing has no AC at all. But I got to put some miles on it before we can actually go get it before we can get the tune really cleaned up and dynoed and all that good stuff. So yeah, I will fill it full of coolant and keep y'all updated. But tomorrow, because it's already dark, it's past my bedtime, so got to clean up, and then we'll be about it. Got the car filled up with coolant. Got the fans working. I've driven it around a little bit just to make sure everything was good, and yeah, everything is great. So again, I need to clean up some of the wiring and so on, but overall she runs really good. I went ahead and did some more tuning on it and re-enabled the idle air control valve, because I had it disabled beforehand, and during idle or during warm-up it was just brutal. But got it all cleaned up. A lot of YouTubing and Googling was done to figure that one out, but we got it right. So now I'm gonna go ahead and load up the car into the shop. We're gonna put some different wheels on it, do some cleanup, got some other little mechanical things, and then when we return we will do some street videos. one of the things that I wanted to get done was get the e-brake working. So I got the old e-brake out. These are disc brakes, so they needed a custom e-brake cable. I already got them routed, but these are the ones. These are the ones that I got. 79 through 92 park brake cable for rear disc brakes. I got four of them because I'm also converted this to disc brake. So I got to get this one done. But one of the things that people mess up with is they try to use the original Foxbody e-brake cable itself. This cable is too short, so what it does is it actually puts a constant drag on the brakes, which isn't good for any reason. So you can either get an adjustable, or what I've done is I've gotten one out of a 98, the one that I actually pulled for this car, but I'm going to use it for this, and you can see the length difference. So that should be just enough for me to be able to not drag and then still have a good e-brake cable feel. So we're going to pop that on here, goes through here, routes and goes back, and then we're going to put this e-brake back on and see how well that performs. So alright, and there is there's the final product. Cables are in and stretched out, and what I did was I took this piece, which originally sits right there, and moved it back and bolted it right there. That way the cable could go around the tire. I might have to address at some point in time if this lower control arm gets in the way while it's driving, but for now it'll work. And then it goes right in there, and so yeah, so all's good. We'll go ahead and drive the car and see if the e-brake works and all that good stuff, and then yeah, I think we'll be good. Oh, I'll put the new wheels on it. So those wheels are pretty wide, they actually rub up at top, so but once it's on the ground it doesn't rub, so we'll have to see how it feels once I get the get it on the ground and drive it around a little bit. So well, yeah, got some matching wheels on it, got the e-brake ran. Definitely need some rear suspension stuff going on, but you know, one step at a time. So we'll get it on the ground and drive it around. go. I hope you enjoyed some of the clips. I think the car sounds awesome. You know, it still needs some break-in time and then get a better tune in it. It's got some, you know, we need to figure out where the boost is really sitting at. You know, it's got some tweaks that needs to happen, but overall, super happy. Once we get the motor broke in and get it, you know, tuned to where I want to, we'll put it on a dyno, do any kind of like final tune that needs to be done on it, and then got to put some rear suspension on it as well, and then, you know, hopefully hit the track and do some other cool stuff with it. But for now, it is what it is, and yeah. So if you like what I'm doing, then be sure to like, subscribe, comments, hit the bell for the notifications, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.